Hello, everybody.
Was I too early?
Welcome to another episode of the Alter Ego Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Austin. With me,
as always,
not so much anymore as a cyborg, but we got Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
How's it going? How you doing?
And my lovely wife, Megan.
I was offbeat, wasn't I? I missed it entirely.
It was pretty bad, but we weren't going to bring it up.
Hello, everybody.
And a special first-time guest on the Alter Ego Podcast. All of you out there in the world, Australia, Japan, UK, all over, United States, we've got the one and only Nello, famous from Tony and Nello.
And now, Italia. So now we're going to add some Italian in Italy to listen to this podcast.
That's right.
So I'm going to get my cousin to click download.
Oh, good. And that's one more. We're one more towards global domination.
And that's what I'm talking about. What's going on, everybody?
Awesome.
So should we make him read the ad?
Yes.
No. You know who does need to read the ad, though?
Ford Supply Company?
Ford Supply Company. This episode of the Alter Ego Podcast is sponsored by Ford Supply Company, makers of all natural and organic soaps for men with scents like tropical teakwood, cypress pine, and citrus IPA, so many more. Visit their website at fordsupply.com and order online and use promo code ALTEREGO to get 10% off your order. Ford soap, real soap.
No bullshit.
That's right.
Make sure you get the seasonal stuff because they have some winter stuff out. Frostbite, Evergreen, and I can't remember the last one, but it's I think it's berry.
Woodberry?
Yeah.
Cranberry.
It's like a cranberry, but I think woodberry is the actual name of it. It's amazing. I used Evergreen tonight. Thank you very much.
Is it like as green as this jersey?
Wow.
No.
It's pretty green, though.
It's like a light green.
Mr. Nello, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
I'm so happy to have you here finally.
Thank you so much.
We've talked about this at length,
Yeah.
about getting you on the show. And here you are.
Here I am.
Are you excited?
Absolutely.
Dude, after this, let's go to dinner. Let's you and me go to dinner, have a
But
meal.
let's do it tomorrow. I'm off today.
All right, let's go to Tony and Nello's. Tony and Nello's Southern Italian Cuisine and Grill is a hidden gem that's family-owned and operated on the outskirts of St. Petersburg at 1136 Pinellas Bayway, South Tierra Verde, Florida. It's a must-try for a homemade Italian lunch or dinner. Just remember to bring your appetite because the portions are very generous. Call for a reservation today at 727-867-3577 and check out tonyandnellos.edu. How's it going, man?
It's .com.
Is it really EDU?
No.
I don't even know. I'm not going to lie. You had me there.
Hey,
it's EDU.
So before we get into it, all of our guests that show up on the show have to answer a few questions. We have to get you through the ringer. We've all done this, and I kind of prefaced you about this before we press record. Did I not?
You did. You gave me a heads up.
So you have to talk about kind of how you got into comics. What are your influences? What do you like in terms of comics? What was your first interaction with it? And then we go into favorite hero and favorite villain.
So prepare yourself.
So I don't like to read. So I wasn't
Right.
a comics guy, but
Right.
That's
X-Men animated series and the original Ninja Turtles, my jam all day.
Ninja Turtles, we are all big fans of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised at who my favorite Ninja Turtle was.
I probably wouldn't.
Donatello.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
For real.
You and my wife.
yeah.
For real.
What's the turtle?
I don't
Dope.
know. I don't
The
know how I
best.
knew that.
The best.
I had
The
a
best.
feeling. I had
The
a
best.
feeling.
I am definitely a Michelangelo guy, start to finish. There is no question about that. So that's really interesting. So is your favorite hero an X-Men, since you're an X-Men animated series guy?
No, it's a Marvel man. Because I also like the Spiderman show and the Iron Man cartoon back in the day, too.
Okay.
Iron Man. Tony Stark's the man.
I
I
would have
love
thought
it.
he would have said Gordon Ramsay.
And
So
why
I
is
love
that?
superhero.
I love it. I love the fact that he's rich and didn't care and that he had an iron suit. He had no superpowers.
Right.
He was still him. Even though he did, his brain was his superpower.
A lot of my favorite guys do not have any superpowers. My Hawkeye, I love Punisher. So guys that don't have superpowers.
Those are
really,
my faves. Those are some of my faves there.
You know, like
Interesting.
Thor and
No, Thor's a god.
Thor.
He was born with powers.
Okay. So we've captured the hero portion. What about villains? Who's your favorite villain?
I love Magneto because he's not the villain. I mean, he's a villain, but he's not really a villain.
Okay, so anti-villain.
Yeah, like his experiences made him a villain. What he went through.
I disagree. I think society made him a villain.
Exactly. What they did to him from when he was a kid, surviving concentration camps and being a test subject, to when he started the war between the mutants.
Well, it's not even really with the mutants. His war is against humanity, and the mutants kind of stand in the way. Wouldn't you agree?
I guess. But it was more a war for inclusivity because they were trying to wipe them out.
For sure.
Like the plan that the humans who didn't have powers wasn't to, hey, we can coexist, which is what he wanted.
We have this conversation a lot on this show of, which heroes do you really sympathize with? Some of us really sympathize with Thanos. Magneto is huge on my list. I'm glad to hear you say that. That being said, I've got one more bit of announcements that I want to talk about. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. Tell me if I did, Ryan. I know you were here. Seven Lamb Productions reaching a huge milestone. 3 million downloads. I can't stop talking about it, guys. It's huge. Please go on there and check them out. It's such a wonderful, wonderful achievement for them. We've heard that we're one of the top 1% of all podcasts out there in terms of audio dramas. So that's huge.
Let's put this a little bit more into perspective. You say it's a huge milestone. Let's talk about how it took 3 years to get to 1 million.
Yeah.
It took 8 months to get to the second million, and then it took 3 months, right? Because August you reached, so January to August this year, you reached the second million. But then August through November, is that 4 months? Whatever.
It's
you
6
reached
months.
a whole nother million. It's like 4 or 5 months.
So I started with Rob a long, long time ago out of a post saying I really hated my job and I hated what I was doing. And somebody asked you, what do you want to do? And I've always done voices. So background for you guys, I've known Nello for, God, how long?
Like, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, you were born to do this voice acting thing since back in the day in high school. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've been
always
doing
one
this
of the
for
funniest.
a long time.
Always one of the
You've known
funniest.
Nello like twice as long as you've known me, and we're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually known him longer than anybody in this room. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
It's been a long time.
It was a
Shouldn't
rough
left
start.
I've known Ryan longer than I've known you.
That's
It's accurate.
Oh my God, I feel like
Is it?
an
Or is it
outsider
about
in
the
my own
same
home.
No.
Yeah, but come
It's
on. I know
accurate.
you two for a long time.
That's true.
All right.
That's
We
true.
go way back. Kid.
Yeah. At least a decade. At least a decade.
Huh. Well, so anyway, with that post, I started with that and said I hated my job, and somebody said, well, what do you want to do? And I said voice acting, and I got hooked up with Rob, who then was with a company called Shark Dropper. And then when I met him, we talked about how serious we were. We moved into Seven Lamb Productions, and from there, it took off. And Megan is absolutely right. It took us 3 years to reach our first 1 million downloads, which... oh my God, I was over the moon. The fact that 1 million people had listened to words that I'd put on the microphone was huge. And then 6 months later, we're at 2 million. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is going really, really fast. And here we go. It's the month of December. And on Sunday, which today right now is Tuesday, so Sunday before that, we made 3 million.
Yeah,
which
the
was
Sunday
just
before
massive.
that was the end of November. So give or take a couple of days in August of when you hit the second million before the third million started. Or I'm sorry, you get what I'm saying.
Huge.
You hit the third million by the end of November, but the second million was hit sometime in August. So that's like a 3.5 to 4 month period of time. It's I mean, it's just crazy.
And
They're
you
doing
guys
so good.
that
And
listen to Alter Ego are a part of that.
Yes.
You guys are all contributing to that number, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's great. That being said, let's get into it. We've got some great news to talk about today before we get into Ghostbusters Afterlife and what we thought about that. This week, well, at the time you're listening to this might be old news. I hope not. There is some groundbreaking news that happened this week in the world of Marvel Comics. But we're not going to start with that, as we typically don't. We go from least to most in terms of who's got the most news. So we're going to start today with video games. Yeah.
Is the thing in there that I shared with you? Because I'm going to share it if you don't.
You're being so specific, it's almost scary. It's like I'm there.
It's not on the list, so I'm going to share it.
Okay.
It's not positive.
Just wait till
I'm
our turn.
sorry. I'll be the negative Nancy.
Wait till our turn.
Can I just say one thing before we go there? The whole Seven Lamb thing. I mean, you and Rob, I was there for that 24-hour podcast one day. You guys, your work ethic is crazy. So it couldn't go to two better dudes that are busting their tail.
I appreciate
Can
that.
I curse on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, busting your fucking asses. Let's just be real. Like, I know you on a personal level. You work, you take care of your family, and you do this, man. You guys, kudos to both of you. Now, granted, I know there's more people in the Seven Lamb world.
Yeah.
But I just know you two. So guys.
Well, there's
congrats on the
me
hard
and
work paying
Rob.
off.
There's Megan.
I played the
There's-
librarian in every episode, in every existence.
There
of
is-
libraries.
Sorry, you're
and-
part
and
of the
waitresses.
announcement. Great, you're busting your ass too, man.
Oh, I'm working so hard.
There's us. There's our good friend of the show, Amber Simpson, who just recently had a birthday.
Happy
Good old
birthday!
Amber Simpson.
Well, your wife.
Amber,
We've got,
Amber Simpson, she's so fetch.
Yeah. We got Amy Lorelei, who does Roland for that. And we got Brian Messick. A lot of great people. Anyway, let's get
And
into
now
it.
I'm the dude that's
All right,
playing
let's
the dude.
go. Let's
This
go.
guy-
Guys,
is
is
another
another dude.
I'm Ryan playing Ryan now.
Video games.
I'm excited for this.
Nickelodeon All-Stars, the new platformer that they put out to deal with Super Smash Brothers, has announced their first DLC character as a Nickelodeon property. Anybody want to take a guess? I'll give you this. It's a cartoon. He's very famous.
SpongeBob?
Nope, he's
Quail
already in
Man.
the game. Already in the game.
Oh.
What game?
Nickelodeon All-Stars. It is an iconic cartoon
So
character.
not Arnold.
Quail Man.
No.
Oh, son of a.
That would be Doug.
It is
Hello.
everyone's
That's still Nickelodeon.
favorite lasagna-eating
Oh,
cat.
Garfield.
Mr. Garfield.
He's not Nickelodeon.
I know, but he's joining that. Neither is Batman or
Then how the
What
hell are
the
we supposed to know?
Okay, cool, bro. You said it was from Nickelodeon. I'm
ninja-
here saying.
the Ninja Turtles are in that game too.
We're over here like Doug. We're over here like Tommy
trying
from the
to-
For
Rugrats.
real, yo.
All those people you named are already in the game. Congratulations.
Although I get it, Garfield loves lasagna. Maybe I
Yes, he
should go
does.
and play him tonight.
if he hits somebody with a baguette, I'm in.
I want to say, him as a character has got to be one of the lamest characters ever. Like,
I kind of
he
agree.
doesn't even want to get out of bed.
Yeah, 100%.
What was that one other cat show? That
Cat dog.
Cat dog.
dude, cat dog.
They're in the game.
Dog, alone in the world.
Are they really?
Cat dog is in the game.
You know the immortal question with cat dog is, right?
Is it a cat or a dog?
Where does it go to the bathroom?
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a cat hawk up a hairball?
Cat dog 1 cup. Is it like a cat dog 1 cup?
I guess got to suck for either one that's got to go through that. But
All right, so
I digress.
next bit of news. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. Halo Infinite. Some of us are not uniquely blessed to own an Xbox, but those of us who have and played the beta and have played the free release multiplayer are extraordinarily excited about it. The widely respected, I don't know about that, IGN has come out and rated the campaign for Halo Infinite. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do we think it landed?
9.5.
9.5. Wow.
7.
7.
8-7.
It's a 9. It is a flat 9 from IGN. A lot of great things coming out about that campaign. But one bad thing is that you can't, I don't know why it's a bad thing. You can't replay campaign missions. Why would you want to do that? After you've beaten a campaign mission, that's the whole thing. You won. Why would you want to go back and play it again?
Achievements.
Trophies.
Stop.
I mean, medals, whatever you guys get
Trophies,
in
yeah.
Xbox.
Achievements, same thing.
Listen, if you're an achievement and trophy hunter, then you are combing every single inch of that level to try to find it. Or if you're like me, you want to beat it and move on, and I'll get the achievement for difficulty.
Wait,
You can still replay it. You just have to do a new save.
You didn't pick everything up in Skyrim and try to sell it for money and stuff?
No, I was the guy who got into trouble and then went into my inventory and ate 86 loaves of bread, 4 potions, every amount of grapes that I could, while trying to run away and letting my follower die a slow, painful death.
Speaking of video games, can you imagine that they keep re-releasing the same game and making that much money off of that?
Talking about Halo?
No, I'm talking about Skyrim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. It's literally the same game. No added, nothing.
They did add some stuff, but it wasn't enough to me to make it another $60 game. But
know?
Halo is an icon at this point.
Dude, I've been watching you play some Halo before we do the other show, and you were slaying people.
I've got some skills. I'm
Yeah.
pretty elite.
Yeah, you hit me up the other night, and I was like, God damn it, I'm watching TV with my wife.
I was trying to get somebody else in there with me. That's all I got for video games. That's all I got this week.
Oh,
Nope.
That's it.
Wait.
Oh,
I don't have good
here's
news.
her bad news.
So the Sony fired the PlayStation executive
Oh,
George
yeah.
Cacioppo.
I left this out, but that's okay. Let's get after it anyway.
Yeah, let's do this. I really
who
actually.
appeared in a pedophilic sting video.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
One of the top executives of Sony was caught in a pedophilia ring trying to solicit sex from a 15-year-old boy in the Grindr app.
So, okay, move on. I felt like it was news.
He was fired.
It's video game.
He was fired. It's crazy.
He shouldn't just be fired from the company, though. He should be fired from
hey, Blizzard's not the only one with the toxic
and
work
it even
environment,
says
I guess.
That he
but at least Blizzard didn't go raping children.
That's true.
That's true.
Dude, set up a meeting with a person who said that he was a 15-year-old on Grindr.
You got Jared,
So,
right? Didn't Jared from Subway do the same thing?
Can I
have somebody else
have
find
a
it?
seat there? Like Chris Hansen.
You want to be a... Hey, have a
Nothing
seat.
makes me
Have a
more
seat
angry.
right over there.
Nothing makes me more angry than adults who do that. Okay, move on.
It should make every adult angry. That
On to some DC news. DC doesn't have a lot of news, but this week they actually had some decent stuff. Peacemaker, the new series coming out starring John Cena that I'm very excited for, finally got a release date. They're coming out January 13th on HBO Max. Anybody excited for that show besides me?
No.
I agree with him.
No?
I think Peacemaker is going to become too, I don't know. He's good in small amounts, but I can handle like a whole season of just him.
That's kind of how I feel.
No, man. I'm sorry.
Disagree.
He was great in that movie, and that's because he was on and off, and it was more like Margaret wrote, but no. I don't want to see. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care.
So it's not just him for an hour every week.
I know, but he's going to be the main focus, what they're going to try to develop. No, he's going to get old fast.
I think John Cena is underrated. I'm excited to see it. Anyway.
Because you can't see him.
I know.
Is he going to do the part in Mandarin too?
In what?
In Mandarin? Is he going to do it in Mandarin for Disney Plus China?
Oh, I have no idea. When he apologized for calling Tibet a country.
No, he can literally speak Mandarin pretty good.
No, I know. He speaks very good Chinese. He's fluent in Chinese.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, when that's half your audience.
I can't even pronounce the Chinese food off the menu.
Wow.
I would like an A1, please.
It's typically in English, so we'll see. But
yeah, but it's also in Chinese.
Henry Cavill has said that he is waiting by the phone to play Superman again, despite the fact that he's got 7 seasons of The Witcher lined up. And by the way, this dude, we say it week in, week out, nerd royalty. He wants to play Superman, let him. He has not been the Brandon Routh or any other Superman that's tried to don the cape that I thought was. I thought Henry Cavill was the best Superman so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yes, though Dean Cain was pretty good too. I loved him. I don't know. I love that show. What do you want from me? That was an amazing show.
I think you were more excited about Terry Hatcher than Dean Cain.
All I'm saying is that was a great show.
I don't want to make our sponsors upset in the middle of this.
I'm just saying.
So I'm going to let you have your Dean Cain.
But let's just be real. But Cavill fits that role as Superman. He looks the part. I agree. I wouldn't want to see anybody else.
How about the Batman, the one with Robert Pattinson? You excited for that one?
Absolutely not.
No,
I don't care. Batman has been disappointing as of late, and cool. They're gonna make it dark. Great. Batman
Nello
it's awesome.
is my fucking spirit animal right now.
Wow. Well,
Edward
you don't
Pattinson
like anything that we want to watch.
No,
You
but
don't
it's
like a
true.
single thing.
No, but it's true. Batfleck, awful.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. Great Bruce Wayne. But
not that scene when he's in the warehouse trying to free Martha and he's beating the brakes off of all those villains.
His voice.
You don't think that he... What don't you like?
All of it.
Would you prefer it be Christian Bale where he's like...
Yes. Yeah, because again, it gives you that human aspect. He's trying to hide himself. I don't know.
Where were the drugs
I love it.
Where were the drugs going?
You're telling me that you would take Batfleck over Christian Bale?
Yeah. His voice, yeah. Voice, yeah.
No, the whole...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Wow. Because I feel like Batfleck did a better job, but we are also forgetting that Dark Knight is one of the greatest movies ever because of Heath Ledger.
What? How about a tandem effort from the A to B?
No, it's definitely Heath. Heath stole that.
No. He's not even in he's in what, 17 minutes of the movie?
And that's what people remember him for. And no, it's 8 minutes.
He needs nothing more.
Yeah.
We discussed this on the podcast.
So anyway, back to the old Batman movie. Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin in
Danny
these new
DeVito
movies.
should have played the Penguin.
He looks so good as the Penguin. He doesn't look anything like Colin Farrell. And he is also signed on to play Penguin for a The Batman HBO spin-off series.
My favorite Penguin was the Penguin in Danny DeVito from the second. I thought he was amazing. It looked great. It was one of the best villains I've ever seen in a long time.
I forgot.
If ever.
So tell me this. Tell me this.
I loved
other than the looks of the Penguin, tell me what he
mannerisms.
did as a villain that made him so good to you. What was his big plot? Do you remember?
He was getting back at everybody because he was abandoned and taken care of by the clown or whatever was underground or whatever. Right?
Penguins.
Yeah.
Penguins, which was what made him Penguin.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His real name?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, hello.
Are you kidding me?
Just telling you the truth.
Oh, boy.
I wanted to
When
call
he
him
ate that
Henry
fish
Cobblepot.
and all that black stuff came out, it was an iconic scene.
Yeah, but as a villain, I mean, I don't know.
And I would say that
We'll see.
Jack Nicholson Joker is better than Heath Ledger Joker all day.
Now I know you're on some form of drugs.
Hey, whenever I say he was my spirit animal,
All day.
I recant that statement.
All day. Now let me tell you something. The Joker was supposed to be still having fun. Like, I get that Heath Ledger's version of the Joker was he was just batshit insane. But Jack Nicholson still gave you that thing where he was a circus clown. Like, he gave you that funny yet dark side. He just did it in a cleaner manner. I don't know. I loved it. I think he's one of the best Jokers.
Joker showing up in a dress and having fun with Harvey Dent was not.
It's more of a
him,
psychotic break.
Was
Joker.
not him having fun.
That's how the Joker is made.
Him
I get it.
forcing the mob to kill themselves with a pool cue is not fun. Joker
Oh, I fucking love. My favorite Joker moment is when he takes all the money and he just burns it.
burns it.
Like, I don't even want the money.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when they asked him to kill the Batman, he's like, never do anything you're good at for free.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Use that quote all the time.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And then he sets all the money on fire like he didn't even care about that. He just...
You just like the scene
fuck
where he
shit
blows up the hospital with the nurse's outfit?
No, I don't. I just love it because nobody had an answer for Heath Ledger's Joker. The organized crime, the police, Batman, nobody had an answer for him because he was chaos incarnate and he was having fun. That's why anytime he got caught, he's laughing. He's like, even when Batman's kicking the shit out of him, he's laughing at him. I think he has a lot of fun. Anyway, Colin Farrell, I think, is going to crush it. But let's move on to Zachary Levi and his comments about Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
And I reminded that the people beat Joker.
The people did have to beat Joker.
I loved Shazam.
Society had to beat Joker. And so Zachary Levi is already coming out and saying that Shazam, Fury of the Gods is much better than the first one.
That's hard. That's going to be hard to cap because that's one of DC's best movies, if not the best.
I've honestly still
Shazam's.
have never seen Shazam.
I'm sorry.
I disagree. I thought Shazam himself, Zachary Levi, was excellent. The kids that played the alter egos were excellent. The villains
Was terrible.
were forgettable at best.
The main villain was
And
terrible.
I think Mark Strong is really good. But the role they put him in, just forgettable. But Zachary Levi's talks behind this were the cast has been together now. We know our characters better now. We're going to have more. I have a feeling we're going to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in this one as Black Adam as well. So I don't know. I think it is going to be better, but I think it's kind of easy to say that your movie's going to be better when, to me, the bar was very low for the first one.
What? That's crazy.
The bar was low.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm going to
DC,
have
all
to
their
disagree.
bars are low.
And that was the bar that brought it up. That and Wonder Woman. That's it.
Wonder Woman.
That not the second one. The first one was a great movie.
Okay.
What?
I'm going to go with
For real?
The first one
Aquaman
was
being
okay.
one of the best
Terrible.
movies.
Bye. I don't need it. And I was even upset with the James Wan. It's going to look amazing underwater. Look at what I've done. And you only show 5 minutes of it? Get out of here.
5 minutes of what?
When they're underwater going to Atlantis, it's supposed to look amazing.
They're in Atlantis. They're in the trench. They're in the water for a good portion of that movie. Sure, they're above water for a good portion of the movie because the whole movie is about the conflict with the surface world. So if you spend that entire movie underwater, you're really not going to get much of that conflict, are you?
I get it, but I think that's not a good DC. Really, honestly, like Ryan said, what good movie has DC made besides those two? In my opinion,
few and far between. It's few and far between.
Opinion, though.
To be a trilogy, and then that's it.
So let's get into.
What was which trilogy?
The Dark Knight.
But that's not DC. Well, I get it's DC.
It is DC, but it's not of the new DCEU.
Universe, yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, let's get into movies and TV because we got to get to our first break. Nick Offerman, very widely known as Ron Swanson on Parks and Recreation, has been cast in the Last of Us series on HBO.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know who the hell he's going to play, but I'm happy to watch it.
I don't watch Parks and Rec, so I have no idea who that is.
Dude, he's on every meme on the internet.
I didn't play Last of Us 1 or 2.
What? 1 was such a good game.
I hear that. I hear 2 was one of the greatest games, too.
I don't think
Funny
so.
story. Mr. Robert Lamb let me borrow The Last of Us, and I still have not played it.
What is wrong with you?
Wow.
You got to play this. I know time is an essence. Trust me, I'm in the same boat, but you can play
I got a feeling to me it's going to be overhyped and
that story and the first one is captivating.
I'm going to disagree with you. For the little bit that I did play of the first one, very good. That's one of the only games in history that Megan has been like, hey, do you want to play Last of Us so she could see the story?
And my wife was the same way.
Yeah.
My wife was just captivated with watching me play the game, not because I was any good, because I was pretty bad, but just the story.
Yeah.
It's good.
So Nick Offerman,
Red Dead were
happy
the only
to see
two
him.
games.
Let's talk about Matrix Revolutions, which is coming out very soon.
I don't know how to feel.
I'm
Kia,
surprised
I don't
that's
either.
not going to HBO Max.
I don't either. It is.
It is?
Thank God, by the way.
I feel like them doing Matrix Resurrections is just going to spit in the face of the sacrifice of Matrix Revolutions.
I just don't think Keanu wanted the third one to be the last Matrix, because that was pretty horrid stuff.
So he has come out and said that this Matrix, shooting it, the whole process has been a complete 180 from the other Matrix movies. That the other Matrix movies were a lot of rehearsal, a lot of focus on character development and stuff like that. And he said that Lana Wachowski, who was transitioned from a man, has done a completely different focus on this movie, saying that that's why I made the distinction, because it is the same director.
Yeah, they both transitioned, if I'm not correct.
And she focused more on the visual aspect of the Matrix
I'm
all
excited.
the shots, and nothing focused really on rehearsal. He said, Keanu said they barely rehearsed for this movie.
That sounds awesome, because that's kind of what was lacking in like the last Matrix was what it looked like, because it really looked terrible.
It was all CGI, so really there's no setting any of that.
So I'm kind of like excited. But do I want that excitement to be, what if this comes out and it's even worse, and then it just ruins the Matrix for me completely? You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm saying if you're even going to do this movie, you're going to be kind of spitting on all the sacrifices that were made. And Trinity's death in the third movie means nothing. She's back.
Exactly.
So who cares? So you watch 1 through 3. Why watch 1 through 3? Just watch Revolutions.
Just watch 1, 2, and 4. Just skip 3 completely.
Yeah. So Jessica Henwick, who was originally in Iron Fist, which is a dumpster fire of a terrible movie, was supposed to audition for Shang-Chi that recently came out. I don't know if she was playing his sister or she was supposed to play Awkwafina's role. I find it hard-pressed to believe she was going to take Awkwafina's role. But she turned down Shang-Chi to audition for The Matrix.
Do you think she's kicking herself in the butt now?
After the success of Shang-Chi?
Mm-hmm.
No, because Matrix hasn't come out yet.
That's a risk, though.
Honestly,
man.
I think you're dumb to try to leave the Disney for a movie that's been like, what, 20 plus years since
it's
the last
been a
Matrix,
while since the
that?
Matrix has come out, and the last one was pretty bad.
But let's look at her experience with Marvel in Iron Fist, which is, and this is not up for discussion,
But that was a Netflix show.
the worst
Iron Fist is a Netflix show, right?
Netflix
Danny Brown?
TV show. But you're still...
No, Danny Rand, right?
Yeah, but you're still under the MCU shadow. you're still in that brand. I don't know if she didn't think Shang-Chi was going to do it, but she thought Matrix Revolutions was the right way to go. I guess only time will tell.
So which actress was she on the Iron Fist?
She was
the Asian girl that was
the White Dragon.
That's kind of cool.
She was very good.
Why would she leave for the Matrix?
Well, because Iron Fist is definitely not getting rebooted. I mean, that's just a fact. It was a terrible show.
Right, but Shang-Chi is.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that. By the time auditions happen in production and post-production, it really doesn't make much of a difference, does it?
That's a big risk, leaving the mouse to go to a Wachowski brother movie when you know Shang-Chi is going to be picked up.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know that, but I see what you're saying.
Well, you do.
It's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, so far since they've given us this iteration of the MCU, when has someone just made a major movie and then just dropped?
Yeah.
There wasn't at least another one.
I don't know. I think personally, if I'm given the opportunity at a Matrix movie over Marvel, I'm sticking with Marvel.
100% agree.
Yeah. Anyway, let's take our break. We will be right back getting into Marvel news and then Ghostbusters Afterlife. We'll catch y'all in a second. And we're back. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to those ads. We know you hate them. We hate them too, but it helps us out a lot. We sincerely appreciate you. Into some Marvel news. And this, as usual, was a very big week for Marvel. I don't know what those at the table have heard, but there's stuff to be talked about. First and foremost, congratulations to the creators of What If. They were nominated for the Best Animated Series by the Critics' Choice Awards. Any arguments at the table for that?
No.
Didn't think so. We've talked a lot Spider-Man last couple weeks.
That was a trailer that had me in tears.
Items in good way or bad way?
Amazing.
Actors and actresses that want to jump back on the train. One of which was very vocal this week. Miss Kirsten Dunst said she wants to play old Mary Jane Watson.
I like it.
I like that she's realistic with it, that it's a separate timeline, and she wants to play old Mary Jane Watson.
I'm sorry, Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah.
Wants to play old... She's not old.
Are you not familiar with the Tobey Maguire vehicle?
No. I'm very familiar, but she's not old enough to play old.
The best Spider-Man series, might I add.
Shut the hell up.
You think he's better than Tom Holland?
No. Before this dude was this Tom Holland guy's okay.
My ranking.
Let me just see how this last ranking goes.
Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire.
Let me just see how this third movie goes, and then I'll let you know. But as of right now, out of all three movies, the first one's still a better three stories.
So wait a second, because I think what you're saying is the villains and the story arc were really good, not that Spider-Man was really good.
Yeah.
Because I would have to agree with you, because if you were saying that this next movie might kind of tailor your opinion, I agree, because I think that the villains were very, very strong with Tobey Maguire, not necessarily him, but that series. I'm talking about the what we saw in the Green Goblin, what we saw in Dr. Oct, like that sort of shit that we haven't seen yet in this universe. That's all we really have to go on, and I do think that those actors play those characters really well. However, they were paired with Tobey Maguire, who is dog shit.
No, I think.
Wow.
I think also
Toby just died on the hot table right now.
That's fine.
That Venom drops it. It makes it bad automatically. But I was gonna say, if he even says that the first set was better than Tom Holland, I will take these headphones.
No,
off
I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man better, but as a movie trilogy.
So I agree, and this is why I'm so hyped for this movie, because I do love the actors that played the villains in the Tobey Maguire series versions of movies. I do. I think that they fit the fold very well in what we know as the Spider-Man villains. I think that it's going to go well.
I'm excited to see Dr. Ock.
Seeing them with Tom Holland is going to be pretty fucking awesome.
I agree. I'm excited for this. This movie can either make or break this trilogy, in my opinion.
It's Marvel running Spider-Man. It's gonna make it.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe is awesome.
Look at the confirmed cast. Confirmed. Tom Holland, Zendaya, Willem Dafoe, Jamie Foxx.
I know, that's crazy.
Alfred Molina. And as far as we know, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield could be back as well. Marissa Tomei. You know you're going to get Jon Favreau's Happy Hogan. This is going to be the biggest Spider-Man movie you've ever seen.
Can they pull it off?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Can they pull it off?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, they
we'll
can.
see. I tell you what, I cried after that trailer.
Movie trailer,
like, wow,
is better than all of the last Spider-Man with Venom in it.
I don't disagree.
That trailer. As soon as I saw that metal horn come up and hit that, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Doc,
All right. We got more stuff to talk about. Let's get to it. We're going to get back to Spider-Man. He's later down on the list, so we'll get back to it. Colby Smulders is going to return as Maria Hill in Marvel's Secret Invasion. I think we all kind of knew this.
That's awesome.
With Talos coming back, Nick Fury and Maria Hill, I think, are kind of synonymous at this point.
I love the role that she's played in like all of the Marvels. I love it a lot.
I think she's done a great job. I'm excited to see her come back.
Agreed.
Is that the chick from How I Met Your Mother?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the
mall
today.
Speaking of big things, Shang-Chi's director, Destin Daniel Cretton, is already penned for a multiple Marvel movie deal and is currently writing and directing Shang-Chi Numero Dos.
Excited, because that's like the first Kung Fu movie where I'm like, damn, it's good.
This is the first one where I felt like it wasn't just paying. So Black Panther said we want a black director, black cast, black everything to pay homage to Africa and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay. I felt like this one was really true to it in terms of the Chinese culture, appreciating Chinese culture and not shoving it in your face. I felt like Shang-Chi was done very, very well, not just in terms of action, but in terms of culture. I thought they did a fantastic job. Very excited for Shang-Chi too.
Do you know what I liked most about that movie? Is that when he goes into like the fight, when he goes to China and goes into that building and he goes in that fight and it's the guy's fighting the alien, it kind of gave me that same sense from Thor Ragnarok when like Thor gets caught with the collector.
Yeah.
That was kind of dope.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good movie overall.
It was good. It broadened the universe in a lot of great ways. So I was excited for it.
And that big flying dragon fight, man, damn.
Oh yeah, that movie took a left turn at the end that you did not expect.
No,
I still want to know where the 10 rings come from. Damn it.
Me too, and I think that's going to be a big part of it.
We're getting there. Don't jump the gun.
Okay, so back to Spider-Man. Benedict Cumberbatch is becoming Marvel and nerd royalty himself. I mean, he did something that I don't think I've ever heard. When reading the No Way Home script, he only read his parts. He refused to read the rest of the movie and the rest of the script because he didn't want to be spoiled for No Way Home. He wanted to watch it like everyone else.
How did he rehearse?
His own scenes?
Right.
By reading the script.
Right, but somebody else has to, like, I get you have to know your lines in acting, but you have, I feel like I wouldn't know anything about this. I feel like you have to get like some sort of story as to what is going on in that scene with something from the other people.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
To figure it out. So then he had to read something else.
But that lets me know that this isn't a buddy cop movie of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Doctor Strange is in it, but it's still very much a Spider-Man movie. So there's probably a lot more that Spider-Man goes through that we don't see with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So I think I was just like, damn, to have that script in your hands as a fan, I can't not read it all.
Maybe
but him trying to be a fan and go in and say, I didn't. No, it wasn't that he didn't have the opportunity. He didn't want to read it because he didn't want to be spoiled for the rest of the movie.
I can see that.
I mean, damn, you're that much of a fan of what you're doing that you're willing to not read one of the biggest scripts in MCU history.
Do you think some of the Game of Thrones people felt that way when they read the final season? And
Clearly, they didn't care. Clearly, they didn't care.
I know this is off topic, but I don't know. Let's continue. That's just insane.
We've talked a lot about Game of Thrones on this show, so I completely understand. So, we've talked about Spider-Man. We've talked about Tom Holland feeling about his future. We talked about a lot of things that could be. When do we think Miles Morales shows up in the MCU? When does the younger version of Spider-Man make that crossover from Into the Spider-Verse and comics into the actual MCU? Do we think we see him in No Way Home?
I hope so.
It would make sense from a story builder. Don't you think? He comes through one of the time loops.
I think a nod or a "Hi, I'm Miles" or something like that, an introduction is okay. There's a shit ton going on in No Way Home. A lot of things are happening in this movie. So to make any sort of plot point at Miles Morales, I think is a mistake. But
unless
I think
it's
an
like
introduction,
at the very end, either at the very end or even in like a extra credit scene, maybe.
I don't know if the origin of Miles Morales is small enough or big enough to be an end credit scene. I think a "Hi, I'm Miles" or something along those lines or an introduction to him would be perfect.
Honestly, all I need is to see like a flash on the street and then to see the Jordan 1s walking, and I'm okay with that.
But wouldn't it be cool if he was part of this like time barf that happens in the movie where he shows up and he helps Tom Holland win in some way? I'm not saying he has to like do something crazy, but even something small where you recognize, oh, that's where you're at while he's wearing those shoes. Wouldn't that make sense for this movie? If you're going to pull him out.
Unpopular opinion, I feel. This is about the multiverse and a lot of other things showing up. I would love such a big fourth wall break that Tom Holland sees animated Miles Morales.
Whoa.
Animated, though?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Because
It's the
there's no way.
multiverse.
Yeah. Because if you look at the Spider-Man multiverse movie, those are all the different Spider-Mans from all the different places. That doesn't mean that they're animated in their own worlds. That just means that they are now brought into the animated world. So showing that would show that that movie is a part of this MCU time, not necessarily timeline.
That's a lot
But I'm
deeper
saying-
concept than I couldn't grasp.
Oh, the realist over
Maybe
here.
the world is a simulation for real at that point.
Yeah, we're all living in the Matrix. Hello.
Well,
Okay. So
no, but that's kind of cool.
I would be interested to see that. Do we think we see Miles Morales in this movie or in the future? I'll just go around the table. Ryan.
Do we or do we want to? Hold on.
Yes,
No,
I
do
honestly
we?
think we do.
Do we? You see him in No Way Home?
I think so.
Miles Morales?
I think so.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, No Way Home.
Yeah.
I say no.
It would be smart for them to include him in
Even
this.
if it's a quick sort of, yes, because we've seen Easter eggs in other movies. So even if it's the Miles Morales that we know is the animated, only not animated, but dressed the same, looking the same, so that it's like he's in this world, hinting that they're colliding.
We talked about this last week about Tom Holland having signed on for another trilogy run by Marvel.
Okay.
And him being in there. I think we start the next movie of him trying to mentor a young Miles Morales.
Okay, then
But at
when
this-
do you introduce him?
you introduce him now and he trips him with the Jordans or something. He just does something a kid would do.
Yes.
And Spider-Man turns around and is like, yo, I'll see you later. And then he does what he
Yes.
does.
Interested to see it. James Cameron, famous director. What has James Cameron directed? Terminator. He's done Avatar. What else has he done?
Your mom.
Wow, gross. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate the paycheck.
Sorry. You said what has he done?
Did you do Titanic?
I was gonna say,
Titanic.
Titanic too. Yeah.
So he came out and said that he wrote a Spider-Man movie. James Cameron. He came out and said it's the best movie I've ever made.
What movie?
Spider-Man.
Oh, this one?
The Spider-Man movie that he's got a script for that we've never seen. He said that is the greatest movie he's ever made. Is that wild to anyone else?
So the movie he made that didn't get made is the best.
Is the best
that's
movie
cool.
he's ever made.
Well, you
And
know
it
what?
hasn't been on screen.
My comic is the best comic I have, and it's the best one in the world, and you don't get to see it. Like, but that doesn't make any sense.
I think he is vying for a shot to make that movie, and I'm super in James Cameron. Anyway, moving on. I've got some sad news in Marvel.
Okay.
You guys ready for some sad
It's not
news?
as sad as the Sony PlayStation news I had, right?
It almost is.
Ooh,
Venom 3 is confirmed by Amy Pascal, the producer.
I feel like
over
we're
at
all victims
Sony.
here.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Sony needs to just let him go.
You don't violate my boy Cletus Cassidy and just shit all over the Venom verse.
You know what I feel like?
And then try to get me amped up for Venom 3. My expectations are lower than they've ever been for one of my favorite all-time comic book characters. They've never been lower. And I still think they won't hit my low expectations.
So this is how I feel in this instance. I feel like this is the first time that we've seen Venom. I mean, outside of the catastrophe that we saw in the Tobey Maguire movies.
Topher Grace was good. CGI, not so good.
No.
Writing, not good at all.
Topher Grace was not good.
Yeah,
he was not good. Whether he was comic book appropriate or not, he was shit.
He was
terrible. It was awful. So this is the first time. I mean, Ed Hardy is a
Tom Hardy.
Whatever.
What about Tom Hardy?
Not Ed Hardy, not the fisherman shirt guy.
The guy with the shirts? What?
Even that's
The
not right.
douchebag attire?
Dragons and shit, whatever. Tom Hardy. Sorry to Ed Hardy. He's not a sponsor.
Sorry to Ed Hardy. Sorry to Tom.
Sorry to Tom Hardy. Okay,
Every douchebag
Tom
in
Hardy.
America is upset
Stop
now.
it, all of you. Tom Hardy has been a fantastic Venom.
Wow.
I know it sounds like I am not 100% on that, but I am.
The only good thing about those Venom movies is the CGI of Venom without the white spider on his chest.
I don't think it's fair to Tom Hardy
Parts.
because he has such a shit studio making his movies.
He's been an executive producer on both. Explain that.
If they could make this Venom and Tom Hardy thing actually work with a better studio and develop it better, maybe. But to say
I feel like this
Okay.
is I feel like in 20 years we're going to have a fantastic set of Venom movies. I say this because Sony fucking failed us as we circle back to the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire series. They failed us in that series. I think it was absolute dog shit outside of the villains like we just discussed, but I feel like Tobey Maguire ruined that fucking movie. And I feel like this is we're just they're not learning. Sony is not learning, and I feel like this is the Venom version of the first set of the Spider-Man movies, and it's just absolutely terrible.
Okay, so I broke you guys down. I broke you down. I broke your spirits.
I'm angry.
Only to build them
agree.
back up. Because recently asked about Venom, somebody that we trust,
See, after I read what he said, I don't trust him anymore.
Kevin Feige.
No, I don't trust him.
He came out and said, you look at the obvious comic connotations between Venom and Spider-Man, and it's inherent. That's a fact.
who is making that movie?
Kevin Feige.
And why is Carnage gone?
Is Sony gonna disappear?
The minute Sony made the Venom movie and it worked as well as it did, as much as we as comic elitists hated it, you cannot deny the fact that it made a boatload of money.
It
So
just needs to be
that's
done
what he
correctly.
means when it says it worked as well as it did. He said they immediately started working on how to fit Venom into the MCU.
And that's fine. That's fine. That is fine. However, Carnage is ruined from that movie.
I don't disagree. And with the time shift at the end of Venom 2, you have a free pass to do whatever you want.
And in my opinion, Venom without Carnage is not Venom.
The only problem of this is
Say it out loud for
Hold on.
for the
We
audience.
have a bystander
We do,
who's
and
just
he's
dying to say something.
Speak.
Go ahead. Jump
Say
on the
it
mic,
loud.
Clay. Go jump on the mic.
Woody Harrelson is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
And got screwed on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson needs to be Carnage.
Yes.
I don't disagree.
I agree 100% with what he said. It's again
I
Sony
said it was a dream casting.
Or
It was so sexy from the beginning.
or they need to figure out
And then
how
Sony
to
happens.
just fix the fucking end of the second
don't
movie
disagree.
and just pretend
I
like
think-
he's not dead.
I think that's where the time loop came in, and I think we get a better
It
revised.
just needs
Carnage.
Sony
Or-
to disappear.
This is where Loki comes in, and all of a sudden there's a new variant of Carnage who's better. I don't know.
Just stop with this.
It's
phantasmic tease
Just
that you're
fix
doing.
it. I don't
Because that
care.
would be hot.
Okay.
But it ain't
Fucking
gonna happen.
fix it.
So Kevin Feige, that was not the only good news he had from the week.
I am with Ryan, though. I don't believe him.
He
Just
No
fix
way.
it.
came with some of that news that we knew was going to be coming, that we were so excited. He confirmed 100% Charlie Cox is returning to the MCU
We need applause.
as the MCU's Daredevil.
Round of applause from the table.
If you watch the Netflix version of Daredevil, you know what we're saying. It was a great series. Of all of them, arguably the best.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
So to see him come back,
Jessica Jones is a good second, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very close second.
close enough
Very
to
close
possibly
second.
sniff that number one spot for season 1. Season 2 was a hot bag of garbage.
That's because we had
100% agree.
So overall, Daredevil is better. Jessica Jones season 1 is the best of all the series,
Yes. Agreed.
but season 2 was such a polar opposite to season 1. Trash. Anyway, he confirmed that it's going to be coming back, and a good friend of the show, Mr. Rhino Alberts, said there is absolutely no way that it's a coincidence that Feige would drop Matt Murdock coming back to the MCU before No Way Home. There's no way. He says, we don't know when, we don't know where we're going to see Daredevil. Bullshit. I think that's a misdirection. I think we see Matt Murdock representing Peter Parker as his attorney.
That's amazing. Battle of the Hell's Kitchen like that. They're going to all get together. That's crazy.
Oh,
I
my
love
God.
And I'm sorry, we talked about it last week. We didn't really say it, but here's some bit of news for Hawkeye episode 3.
Oh, yeah. Because
That kinda made
were really,
this-
No, I still haven't seen it
A
yet.
bit
so
of then
don't spoil it.
earmuff it for
It
me and
happens
walk
in the
out.
first 6
We're gonna
minutes.
go
He's
ahead
fine.
and give you a little bit of earmuffs. Go ahead, let me know when you're ready. So, in the beginning of Hawkeye episode 3, there is a person who walks up to a younger character, gives her a little scrunch on the cheek, and talks out loud, and that is already confirmed to be Mr. Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin.
Yes. And Marvel is why. That's why Marvel's fucking amazing.
This is literally the open door to the possibilities of endlessness.
God,
To the
this
Defenders.
Spider-Man could be
To your
insane.
To the
To your
Defenders.
street level heroes.
Do you understand how amazing this could be when they got Kingpin finally fucking right with
Oh,
D'Onofrio?
You basically brought in the Thanos of street level bad guys.
Yes.
Done correctly. Again. Thank you,
Nothing
Marvel.
against Michael Clark Duncan. May he rest in peace.
The
That
writing.
dude looked more like a physical Kingpin, but damn.
If
Let's
the writing
go.
was better than that, it would have been
And
good too.
Vincent D'Onofrio came out and congratulated Charlie Cox on his announcement of being in the MCU. Vincent, you don't do that unless you know Kingpin is coming in a major way.
If nothing else, I mean, obviously we're going to see him drastically in the future.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, he does open up that door to the Defenders, to all these other avenues.
Luke Cage,
He's
Spider-Man,
part of-
Spider-Woman,
yes.
Punisher,
Everything.
Moon
Yes.
Knight,
Yes.
any street level guy, and some of the bigger level guys in terms of money, but Kingpin's the guy.
Yeah.
Right,
And we
if-
already know that not just the movies and the Disney Plus series and all this other shit is all part of the same universe. So the Disney Plus series, in my opinion, is just kind of like a pathway filling in the blanks in between the movies and shit.
I think it's been
And-
the greatest thing to happen
I
to the movies.
1,000% agree. I'm just saying that it's more of like what's kind of happening in the background and what's kind of combining all this shit together. And so when we already know that Moon Knight is on the horizon and all this other shit's on the horizon, it's literally just, it's an intertwining world of what the fuck is going on that we're all ready for. And that's why we're here.
You can't name me a major hero in Marvel that is not tangled with the Kingpin. You can't do it.
You can't.
You name me any hero, there's a comic where they have interacted with, fought, or indirectly combated the Kingpin.
Batman, duh.
You got me there.
I just want to say the reoccurring theme of this is that Ben Affleck should never be a superhero because
Ever.
he was Daredevil 1 and it was hot garbage.
It was. I don't think
was-
that's Daredevil's fault.
I'm not going to say that's Ben Affleck's fault, but
What?
Here's all I want to say to the Kingpin argument. He is the centerpiece of so many characters. We're already seeing Moon Knight coming out in the MCU. We already know that's coming. Disney Plus is the vehicle
crushing it
to take what all of us that we're talking about right now love and bringing the entire universe, the MCU, legitimately. That's what they're doing with all this. They're creating the possibility at the minimum of spin-off to bring all the characters whole, because the people that didn't read comics as kids, they don't know about these outlying characters that they will love. But when you bring them all together, that's what makes it magical. And that's why this run all the way through Endgame was so great for them, because they brought everything together, and that's what they're about to do again, even better.
And I have to agree with that as somebody who did not grow up reading comics, but knows because of my interactions with Alter Ego and obviously with Jack and all this other, like, I know a lot of this stuff just from secondhand information over the last decade plus of my life. And as somebody who didn't grow up reading comics and knows how these integral villains or characters or whatever eventually come together and become a universe, I am blown away as to how they're telling the story for people who have no idea what's expected and what's to be done and all. I mean, he said that to me the other day. Kingpin is going to be, whatever. And I was like, what? Because I'd already seen him in the Defenders episodes in the past, and I know his connection with the rest of the universe. So again, as somebody who didn't grow up reading comics, I'm seeing how the webs are starting, no pun intended, because it's been a Spider-Man episode, but to see the webs come together in regards to the connection that's going to pull that entire universe together for even people who don't know these characters. And that's what blows my mind. Like, I love it.
See, to me, I feel like they might be muddying the waters a little bit. Like, there might be so much going on that it's too much. I mean, you look at
I can agree with that as well.
From where we started, I mean, so far we got like She-Hulk, we got the Falcon and Winter Soldier, we've got all
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
You've got all this stuff coming and still to come.
Blade, Eternals.
Excited.
There is
so
a shit
excited.
ton happening at once.
The Eternals.
Yep.
Then you still got the Guardians out there somewhere. You still got all of this stuff. Doctor Strange and it's just like it's too much versus what the MCU was when it was just Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, just simple stories. You know what I mean? That came together. Now you got all this shit branching out. On top of it, all these TV series that you have to watch on top. It just seems like it's getting to be a lot.
I'm going to make one last point before we dive into Ghostbusters, because we're running a little bit long. This is going to be the beauty of it. I agree that this is a great thing. You're going to be allowed to follow the thread you want to follow. If you don't want to go after the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that kind of stuff, that's great. But we also are looking at a lot of heroes that are left out because not everybody can fight a Thanos level threat. Not everybody can go and fight space invaders with ray guns and stuff like that. Some of these dudes are going to be low-level tier heroes, and you need them because people identify with them. Because the struggles of the Defenders, the Punisher, the Kingpins, the Spider-Mans aren't ever going to be on par with, not say better or worse, but they're not going to be on par with the troubles of Thor, or the Guardians, or Silver Surfer, or any of these massive properties. Yeah. So you need different levels.
You need the human. You need that human aspect.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying too. In a way, is like you're saying that you need the levels, but that's a story for a different section. I mean, we're already talking about going against Eternals and like a God. Why have those low levels? That's what I'm kind of trying to mean. Like,
because you can't discard them, because not everybody's going to identify with the larger level. They may not care. They may love a Punisher running through a back alley, killing 80 people with nothing but a can-do attitude, compared to people fighting a Celestial that can blip out their planet without thinking.
But see, to me, like I didn't identify with anybody in any of these MCUs. I'm not a superhero. I just watched them for a great story.
some people like to
And that's what I'm
identify
saying,
with
like,
the
I
main.
wanna-
if that makes sense, like their struggles, it builds a character.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but I want a great story, and that's what the MCU did. It told a great story.
Yeah.
It told an okay story. It could have been great, but they fucked it up.
He didn't like the fact that go back to Ryan and I's Endgame debate if you want to know where that hostility came from.
But they did a 95% good job.
He's saying that because
But the Kingpin ties so many other superheroes together. The stories you can make, you can take any spin-off and make it all towards the Kingpin and have an
But
amazing movie
and this is
where
what
they
I'm
all
kinda-
team up to defeat him. That's amazing.
That is kind of great. Do you all need to team up to beat Kingpin, a person?
yeah.
When
They
Thor
did.
literally walked into the fucking
They did.
Yeah,
went
you
to the
do.
planet and
Yeah, you do,
Check out
because
Thanos.
he is a legitimate villain. And what I mean by
Legit.
legitimate, I mean he is a legally legit villain on the surface. So you can't go at him and attack him because of his philanthropic activities in the New York community. People that don't know anything about him love him. So yeah, you need multiple facets if you're going to take down the Kingpin. Not to mention he funds so many different gangs and so many different villains that if you want to get to the top, it's going to take a lot. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a Thanos level villain, but he's going to pull a lot of strings together. Anyway, let's get into Ghostbusters Afterlife, shall we?
Yeesh.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it briefly. Let's talk
we have
about
to?
what we thought, what we liked, what we didn't like. Clearly, there is a divide at the table with Mr. Nello. Those of you, I'm going to do our spoiler-free version before we get into any sort of spoilers or anything like that. I personally feel that there are a lot of wonderful connections to the first two movies, connections to the old Ghostbusters, both directly and indirectly. There's a lot of ties into the first movie. If you grew up on Ghostbusters like I did, you will probably very much enjoy this movie. There's a lot to take in from it. They're all brand new characters. You're not following Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray or what is his name?
Ernie.
Ernie Hudson. You're not following those guys. This is completely different. You
Or
are essentially
Winston.
following Egon's family.
Yes.
And I think it is an amazing tribute to the originals. I thought it was great as a standalone. I thought the cast was excellent, and the nods to the old one were very nostalgic. Me personally, I cried at the end of this movie. I loved it.
Same.
No, I could have. I didn't like this way the story went from the beginning to the end. It just, I don't know. There's like a lot of jumps, a lot of things that I would have wanted to see that maybe I just didn't catch.
Let's listen to Mr. I don't want to watch this. I don't like anything that we choose to watch. What's your opinion?
I actually liked it.
Yay!
And I was actually excited to watch this movie even beforehand. So
Our alter ego folks know that is a rarity.
yeah,
Yes.
it is. But it was done pretty well. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It's not going to win any awards or anything.
Okay.
But like you said, being me and you growing up, seeing Ghostbusters, there's a lot of nods and a lot of cool things in this movie. It's a lot of fanfare, like my buddy said.
Yeah.
But it kind of brings back a little nostalgia, and
I
it
was-
may start something else new.
I just
Yeah.
wanted more of
So
the
I like-
original.
Yes.
But there,
I wanted
it can't
more.
be.
I wanted
okay.
more.
I think
wanted
that
more.
you don't identify with following around a middle school girl compared to following around 4 grown men chasing ghosts.
It would've- it would've-
So that being said, let's jump into spoiler territory so that we can give our folks that want to watch the movie that haven't yet a chance to take off. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to the Alter Ego podcast, but we're going to get into spoiler territory in terms of our thoughts on this movie. So if you're still around, if you're still here, I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds, and then we're going to jump into spoiler territory. So here's your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get into
Okay.
it. What didn't you like? Spoil away, boys.
Okay, so I'm going to start because I'm jumping in here. What I really, really loved about this movie was that it was something similar but different than what we grew up watching. So it kept, and I know you said that it's not going to win any awards. I feel like the nostalgia
True.
that was probably. However, we all have to realize that those things are, whether it's professionals dealing with the voting and decisions on winning awards or not, there's always a level of heart-wrenching nostalgia feeling that comes with those sort of decisions. Do I think that there is a lot of power in what could come from a vote to win an award because of the nostalgic efforts that are put in this movie? Yes, I do think that's the case. But I love that the differences are so obvious, but so perfect. To include the Marshmallow Man, and to include
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man,
include Slimer, and the fact that they did not totally envelop the same sort of scenario, but it was more of like a hint and a nod and kind of like a, I don't know. I loved the way that they did that. I loved the way that they incorporated the family aspect of it. And Egon, of course, especially because
Harold Ramis
has passed away.
That was dope.
And I adored that they obviously wrote this post his passing. They chose to go this direction because of his passing. The whole entire movie was a nod to him. The CGI that was involved with him being associated to it was absolutely impeccable. And the fact that the coming back Ghostbusters were so involved in this movie, even if it was minute, if they would have been in the movie longer, it would have infiltrated the purpose of the movie. And I think what they did to tribute to him was absolute perfection, because the more Bill Murray you have, the more, what's his name?
Dan Aykroyd,
sorry, that you have in this movie, the more Winston, what's his name?
My dad, Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. The more of those characters, I know. I'm sorry. I've had a White Russian or two, so Bill Murray is an obvious. I know. My dad.
Dan Aykroyd is my father.
I also didn't like what Dan Aykroyd did on the phone to the little girl. He was an asshole.
Okay, so hold on.
But that's beside the point, because Dan Aykroyd's character is kind of always that way. That's not different than what we're used to seeing out of him. Not that he's really an asshole.
He was not an asshole.
He's very short and to the point, and that's just the way that his character is played. So I think that it wasn't necessarily him being an asshole, it was him enveloping that character.
He didn't start giving a shit till she said that A, she was the granddaughter, and B, that he died.
Okay, so there's a tiny child calling him out of nowhere on the red president's phone, basically saying, "Hello, how are you?" And then a minute and a half later she decides to tell who she is. I would be kind of a dick too. I mean, all of a sudden, my emotions come full force, because now you're telling me that you're associated, not only associated, but related, and my dear friend has passed? I mean, of course, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, that makes sense to me.
Let me interject for a second.
Sorry, I was on a soapbox.
The premise of this movie is that the Ghostbusters are no more. They are broken up from each other because Egon, a pivotal member of the Ghostbusters, was doing research on Gozer the Destroyer, who they fought in the first movie. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Oh, fuck, there's so much going on here in this butt-fuck town, and I need to go there." And in typical Egon fashion in the other two movies, more often than not, he shoots before he asks questions.
Yep.
So he steals all the proton packs and everything that the Ghostbusters have and moves down to this town without word to anybody else. So when people bring him up, Dan Aykroyd's like, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah.
And then she says, "I'm this person," and he goes, then all of those feelings for Egon as a friend and somebody who's experienced near-death experiences with come in, he's like, "Well, fuck, I'm sorry to hear that."
But it also shows both sides of what's happening. It shows the audience who grew up loving and knowing the Ghostbusters what happened in their separation. Obviously, he passed away in real life, but it showed what they decided to do with his story and how they separated him from the Ghostbusters and why there was a separation, X, Y, and Z. And then it brings in his granddaughter and his story in the situation. And in that phone call, whether he's being an asshole or not, it literally just folds both of these stories into one that is obviously a 10 to...
We're spending a lot of time on the phone call.
I know, but it's a kind of a big deal because it brings those two generations together. So whether he's an asshole or not, it totally brings those two generations together.
The whole thing is that there's the big ghost resurgence from Gozer the Destroyer, and that Egon has been this last line of defense that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk to the town. He doesn't talk to his family. He keeps any sort of ties from them away to avoid them being subject to this or being a victim of this. And so they show him as a true gunslinger going out on his back, doing everything that he can to defend everybody. And then his family sort of coming in at the time. I thought there were some excellent touching moments in this movie.
Yes.
For instance, the granddaughter, her playing chess with Egon.
Now, see, to me, I was like, man, that's some white people shit. As soon as I moved that piece, and then it moved back and got up and moved, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right through the house, dipping. I'm gone. I'm not asking questions.
White
Yo,
people shit.
That is some white people horror
But
movie
here's
shit.
the thing: she didn't even get scared or like,
I can't.
like she
Get it
didn't
in.
get scared or she was like, yo, why did that puzzle piece just
Come here.
get up and just move?
Come here.
Nothing.
I'm going
She
to call
just-
an audible real quick.
She just literally just let it ride and just was like, oh, let's just make this move. Let's do that. And then he just flips it. Man, nah.
And
bro.
they should have
would've
finished
dipped.
that game.
Yeah.
We're gonna end it and start it there. They
They
should have
should've
finished
finished
that
the
game. It
I-
should have been. There should have been more pieces. Anyway, go
But that
ahead.
when she flipped
I am-
it though, that's what made her,
I am
Figure out
also
the thing.
pissed off, as my quarterback over here said, which my Falco. I'm calling in Falco. Come here, Falco. Tell the crowd.
Just say it, Nello. Jesus.
We both agreed that Harold Ramis is Ghostbusters. No
Okay.
Harold Ramis, no Ghostbusters. And he's the actor himself. Maybe I held the grudge on a personal level. He's been wanting to make the Ghostbusters forever, and he couldn't
Harold
get them
Ramis
all
has.
together. He couldn't get the band together. It took him dying to make it again.
So
Maybe that's my grudge against this
the
movie.
reason it didn't happen was his argument with Bill Murray.
The initial idea of the Ghostbusters was Harold Ramis.
Right.
He came up with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
so who would be mad of how this
I
movie
agree.
went then?
We agree.
It was the best tribute you
Then
could give.
What?
to
Are you-
Harold
No,
Ramis.
it wasn't.
Shut up and shut up.
Yes.
I think it was
Shut
because
up.
Yeah.
one of the things
Truly.
too that I said,
agree.
I used to say,
Yeah.
I said Bill Murray
The
was going to be in
quarterback
this
Falco
movie.
agrees.
Yeah.
That's why they paid homage.
Yes,
And they
it was the
absolutely did.
best.
It felt forced.
Okay,
Well, how?
It wasn't
fine.
genuine. It felt forced. Why do
Fine.
we have to wait? It was his movie. Stop. I don't know.
So,
whatever.
okay, you're somebody who's
I'm just
mad at
pissed.
something
I'm just pissed.
outside of the movie.
Right. I'm just pissed. I told you I have a personal grudge against the movie.
I don't agree.
It only felt forced because they only have so much opportunity to do it. Harold Ramis was a genius.
Yeah.
And this was his swan song. This was his one and done, get it done. And he put all of he had into it. If you follow the original Ghostbusters movies, you know it's Harold Ramis is why they were what they were.
I mean, just the fact that at the very end of the movie, it literally says for Harold. I was like, I was a sobbing hot mess.
he is Ghostbusters.
He is Ghostbusters.
I mean, I don't disagree.
And they did a great job.
I
felt
approve his
the,
message.
The
Our message, whatever.
the shots of the body double clearly and the CGI and just his whole mannerisms, the way they did his house, it looked so keyed in for him. His granddaughter was a perfect version, by the way.
Yes.
I will
She
agree
gave me
that
one
was
of
a
my
great
favorite
casting.
She gave me one of my favorite jokes of all time. What do cigarettes and hamsters have in common?
I wrote it down.
They're both really great until you stick one in your mouth and set it on fire.
Yeah,
They're both harmless.
they're both
until you-
harmless until you until you stick them in your mouth and light
I
them
did
on
love
fire.
when she's telling jokes to the goddess.
Gozer.
Yeah. She's like, "Are you here to pay homage and kill yourself?" And she's like, "Oh, let's listen to a joke."
I got some jokes. She was great start to finish. The whole cast. This is rare for me. There's not a cast member that I was like, I don't like this person.
The Stranger Things kid felt forced, like they needed to hire him to get the movie, the traction.
How about podcast,
I like podcasts a lot.
dude?
Me too.
You know what? I thought of you. I'm like, this is fucking Jack. I'm like, if Jack had a microphone when
That's
he was
funny.
a kid, I
No way
swear
I
to
get to.
God.
If anything,
I
I'm
swear
Winston.
to God. No, I'm sorry. Your podcast, bro. Get over it.
Do you think they had to call Bill Murray on that 1-800 number?
I do.
Or do you think somebody
So
had
what he's
himself?
referring to, which some of you might
No,
know,
Dan Aykroyd was like, "We're making this
Is
fucking
that
movie."
Bill
You need to
Murray-
Shut the fuck
This
up.
is legit.
the
Jack,
way
tell
Bill Murray finds his movie opportunities is he does not have an agent. He does not have a talent agency that he works with. He has a phone line, and it is a landline that goes to an old school voice
I've heard
fucking
this.
love
I've heard this.
voicemail
so
machine.
much.
You have to call him on that line, leave your pitch in the voicemail.
I love it.
And he has to have checked it, heard you, and call you back if he wants to do it.
And only he checks it. He does not
So
have
I
somebody
feel like we
vetting
need
it.
this number, and babe, you need to call him and pitch him something because I feel like he would agree.
Wow.
Tell him he needs to come out here. He can sleep on this disgusting couch we have.
I don't think
and he
he'd
can
worry
sit on
about
our
his
podcast.
accommodations.
I think the accommodation would be fine. You were very Bill Murray-esque with your just a few. That's all I'm saying.
I just feel like
I
you
appreciate
have
that.
a very
Call the number.
yeah.
We have a mutual friend that played beer pong with Bill Murray
Do we?
at UF. Yeah.
Oh, good for him. Bill. Jesus Christ.
Can
Anyway,
we talk about
so that's
Paul Rudd in this movie really quick?
Yeah, that's another
Because
thing.
I'm sorry.
Here's what a seismologist teacher. Hey, I'm just here in the middle of bumfuck Oklahoma trying to seismology and be a teacher. at the same
Yeah,
time.
science
What?
with
Hold
a
on.
safety pin through the nipple of
I thought he was going to
academia.
touch the children. That's what I really thought
Stop
was going to
it
happen.
right now.
No, you're just trying to be a contrarian. He is a substitute teacher for summer school. He's not teaching seismology. That's what his major was in, and that's why he's there, which is explained. I think you're nitpicking at this point in a major way.
Did you hear what my the coach came in from the huddle and called another headline? Audible. He said, sexiest man alive, Paul Rudd this year?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a true story.
That's
Had to be
because
in
that
this
man
movie.
never ages.
Had to
he's
be in
like
this
a
movie.
he's like a freaking fine wine.
But he did a good job, and they paid so much homage, especially his scene in the Walmart
Yes.
where he chucks a pint of ice
Ice cream and hits
at
the-
Zool's face. That was my jam. I laughed very loud and very hard when that happened.
And I loved how excited. So there's obviously a moment of what the fuck is happening and panic when the little marshmallow men start coming out.
And I
but
like how
there's
they
a
tell you
brief.
something.
There's a brief. It's okay. What's happening when he pokes the guy in the belly, just like the Pillsbury Doughboy, before he's like, okay, like I'm coming back to reality and what the fuck is happening. Like I loved that to where he was like confused and then he was like excited and then he was like, what the fuck is happening? And then he throws
then
the ice
out
cream.
comes
Anyway,
Those
it was
marshmallow
just-
men
And I
were
like-
the best.
and
How it
like
was
the
opposite,
blender
and they were small instead of giant.
Yes.
And just a bunch of little ones.
So,
But the blender and the grill and
The
the,
grill.
s'mores.
They made the
It was
s'more
awesome.
with. Oh my god, it was amazing.
It was
I like
so
the one who just
perfect.
like lays down on the graham cracker with like the chocolate on him.
and he
Like,
just
let's
lets
do
the
this.
chocolate just fold
kill
over
me.
him.
The one stabs it with the skewer and puts it on top of the barbecue, and you literally see one like, no, this hurts, and he's calling back towards the other guy.
It was
These- they
oh
were
wow,
amazing.
the music in the distance.
yeah, that was amazing. And there is also a wonderful tribute from the original Ghostbusters in this movie, but I'll let you
Yes.
watch it to see
Yeah,
that
we
if
can't
you haven't
spoil
already.
that because there's so much emotion and just nostalgia. Nostalgia. It was just the whole last 5 minutes of that movie was amazing. So we're not going to spoil it here. Watch it.
Brian?
I mean, you almost did. What,
I don't think
I
I
know.
got
you
anything else.
tiptoed right to that edge, and you're like, not today. What a cliffhanger.
A very big
sounds
thank
like
you
Megan.
to our guest,
Spoiler
Nello
alert.
Camarota, for showing up and being on Alter Ego with us.
And
And
so
the
many
coach.
people know about Tony and Nello's and our good friend Clay Wilkinson, who interjected from time to time.
He
welcome.
was here.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I do have one nitpick.
Let's
Yes,
get
please.
it.
What? Where the hell they get that RC car? It's faster than a goddamn Cadillac.
That was
I want
dope. That was
I
dope.
want it.
that's an old Cadillac though.
Harold
so-
Ramis's character Egon built it.
Yeah.
That was dope.
That thing hauls ass.
From the bleachers.
After building a proton pack that could do total particle reversal, you don't think he could make a fast RC car?
But I mean, you're talking about it.
I agree. He made a photon pack with like 80s tools and gadgets.
So why doesn't he have a better car?
It's the best car ever. You're not dissing that Ghostmobile. It's not happening.
That's not my point. I'm just saying.
The music's just getting louder.
He had the hypertube.
I mean, the car was going like 100 miles
Who are you
an
gonna
hour.
call?
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
Harold Ramis.